I remember you well in the Chelsea Hotel. You were talking so brave and so sweet.
When you see the Chelsea Hotel in person on West 23rd Street in New York City, you are witnessing history. For over 100 years, the Chelsea Hotel was home for many artists, writers, and celebrities, including Dylan Thomas, Arthur Miller, Leonard Cohen, and Patti Smith. A new book, Legends of the Chelsea Hotel, tells the story of the hotel and those who lived in or passed by the neighborhood. The book's author, Ed Hamilton, is a resident of the hotel and writes for Living with Legends Hotel Chelsea blog. He based the book mainly on his personal experiences. It also covers the hotel's famous residents, such as folklorist Harry Smith, who kept a zombie in his room, Thomas Wolfe, who wrote You Can't Go Home Again in room 831, and Andy Warhol associates Edie Sedgwick and Rene Ricard. At home at the Chelsea on a Saturday afternoon, author Ed Hamilton shares what made him and his girlfriend decide to move there back in 1995.
Well, I'd always heard about the hotel before I'd even seen it. Since way back in the '80s, when I was reading Thomas Wolfe and the beat writers like William Burroughs and Allen Ginsberg, and their biographies, like the hotel would always come up, and it had always been kind of my dream to live here. And I shared that dream with my girlfriend who I met in college, Debbie Martin, and we'd always wanted to move to New York, and I would be a writer, and we would just, live the bohemian life, and the Chelsea was kind of connected with that. Actually, yeah, we did. Like we came here a couple times in the '80s, and then the hotel was just really like the Wild West back then, and they gave us a room, and it didn't have a TV or a phone or anything, and there was just like dirt on the floor and stuff, and but somehow still we loved it because it was just like you could just feel the energy of the place, and we knew of all the great people who had passed through here, and so it just really excited us, and we knew we had to move back here.
I asked Ed Hamilton what makes the hotel ideal for artists and writers.
And there's just some sort of weird energy here, that just makes you want to create. I mean, I guess I don't know how it all started, but I guess it's like the example of like living in close proximity to all these greats of the past, and like their example is just forever, hanging over your head, or tacked up on the wall literally in these paintings of great people who lived here. And I think that's kind of what spurs people on to create. Is like, well, like I'm a part of this place, and I want to be remembered, and I want people to say my name, along with Burroughs and Warhol and Arthur Miller and whoever. I mean, I think there's like the real source of the energy, or a big part of the source.
One of the interesting personalities who resided at the hotel was the late Dee Dee Ramone, the former bassist of the punk group The Ramones. Hamilton recalls the first time he met the rocker around the time when there was construction work upstairs in the hotel.
Just one time he moved in next to me in the middle of the night, and I didn't know who was over there, but then the next day I was just sitting here writing, and he starts pounding on my wall because he thinks I'm making a bunch of noise, and then he comes to my door, and he's standing there in his underwear, and covered in tattoos, and you shut up over here. I'm like, Dee Dee, it's not me, it's the guys upstairs, Yeah. I mean, I knew who he was, I thought, I was like, why is Dee Dee Ramone, this big rock star, standing at my door in his underwear,
Right.
I mean, it was a pretty surreal experience, but so then the upshot of that, as I describe in the book, is that he goes and challenges the construction workers to a knife fight.
Another character Hamilton writes about is a painter from Japan named Hiroya, who lived at the hotel in the late 1990s. He was even commissioned by Dee Dee Ramone for 2 paintings. Hiroya fell in with the wrong crowd and reportedly died of a drug overdose in 2004.
I think that's why I dedicated the book to him, and and why I kind of chose him as a central figure, because like that's kind of the dark side of the dream. That I mean, the dream is move to New York. You don't have much money. You don't care. You just you live in a little hovel and you just do your art. And eventually you become a success just through perseverance and talent. And Haroya had perseverance. He had talent. He had a he had a talent for self promotion above anything. But still, I mean that New York, just kind of chewed him up and spit him out.
To younger generations, the hotel is where Nancy Spungen was found stabbed to death in room 100 on October 12, 1978. Her boyfriend, former Sex Pistols bassist Sid Vicious, was charged as a suspect in her murder, but died of a drug overdose a few months later. According to Hamilton, fans of the couple and curiosity seekers have made visits to the hotel to check out the scene of the crime. Ultimately, the management decided to redesign the whole room.
It does seem like that's what people remember, yeah. With all the great writers and artists who passed through here, that's the thing that people remember. Oh, it's Sid Vicious, who was really like a completely untalented character, and I mean, just I mean, whether he murdered her or not, some people don't believe that he did, but what a thing to be the one thing that people remember when they're coming through here.
Right.
But that's what all if you see a tourist, that's what they're always talking about in the elevator or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's what everybody remembers.
The hotel also had its share of junkies, prostitutes, and other eccentrics, lending its reputation as a flophouse. In recent years, the Chelsea neighborhood has become gentrified.
Well, it's like one of those things where you got to have mixed feelings. I mean, it's good that there's no more junkies shooting up in my bathroom. I'm very pleased with that actually. But then on the other hand, I mean, like where's a young artist supposed to go? To live cheaply and start his career and make his art. I mean, you can't go to the Lower East Side anymore, can't go to the East Village, and this was kind of the last place, and Stanley would give you a chance and let you come here and if you couldn't pay for a while, he wasn't so worried about that. And where do young artists go now? It's a real shame.
Stanley Bard, the gentleman on the left, had managed the Chelsea Hotel for the last 50 years. Hamilton describes the longtime proprietor.
He's the nicest guy in the world, and he's like just a kindly old man, and he really takes care of his artists, and if you can't pay 1 month, I mean, he'd let you slide, or he'd make special arrangements for you. If you can't pay for for a large place, he'll give you a smaller place, and this and that. He's just always bent over backwards to be kind to his artists. But also, I mean, he's a businessman, and he's kind of a con man, who can convince people, that this is like a luxury hotel, on a par with the Plaza or something.
In June, Bard was fired as manager by a company called BD Hotels, which took over the hotel. The move raised concerns about whether the hotel's older and longtime residents will continue to stay or be pushed out.
It's becoming kind of a boutique hotel now, I mean, we're trying to stop that in the best way we can, but and BD Hotels is going about it systematically to get rid of the people that they can.
Next year, the hotel will turn 125 years old. I asked Ed Hamilton how he views the future of the hotel.
It was a artistic hotel even before the Bards, even before Stanley and his father were here, and there seems to be some sort of vibe in the atmosphere that makes artists want to flock to it. So it's gonna have a new incarnation. It's not gonna be like the Bohemia that we know, but I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just like New York itself. Like they can gentrify the place. And they have over the past, gone through phases where they've gentrified it, but then it goes downhill, and the artists move in, and and it blossoms once again.
Hamilton said that the Chelsea Hotel is a microcosm of New York City.
you know, like everybody comes to New York, and you know, like they're all full of energy, and they all want to succeed. And you know, the Chelsea is that times 10. You know, like everybody's is an artist, and everybody's struggling in their own way for you know, to realize their dream, and that's what gives the place its energy, I think. Yeah, just like New York.
I remember you well in the Chelsea Hotel. That's all, I don't even think of you